You've probably heard that staggering statistic, right? That somewhere between 70 and 90% of all startups fail. It's a huge number, and we usually blame things like bad ideas or running out of cash. But what if the real problem is the very tool we all use to build them, the business plan? Well, today we're going to explore a whole new way of looking at it, ditching that static document for a dynamic, zoomable map for your entire business.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Before we can talk about a new solution, we really have to get our heads around the problem. And the problem is this. Our traditional tools, the pitch decks, the formal business plans, they're fundamentally broken. They give you a snapshot of your business, sure, but it's like looking in the rearview mirror. It's already obsolete the second you print it out.
So, back to this number, 70 to 90%. It just haunts the startup world. But what if this isn't just the price of innovation? The source material for this explainer says it's actually a systemic risk, meaning it's a problem that's baked right into the old methods we use for building and judging new companies. Which, of course, brings us to the big question. If it's not just a string of bad luck or a shortage of good ideas, what is really going on? Why are so many passionate founders, people with brilliant concepts, still ending up having to close their doors?
Well, it turns out the real killer is often an incomplete or, more importantly, an unbalanced business model. Your standard pitch deck just can't show you the complex moving parts of a real business. It forces everyone to rely on gut feel and creates these little silos of information, which means huge, critical flaws get missed, usually until it's way too late.
So if the old way is busted, what's the fix? Well, the solution is a pretty radical shift in how you think. It's about stopping, seeing your business as a long to-do list and starting to see it for what it is, a dynamic, living, interconnected system. Basically, a zoomable map.
This quote right here really gets to the heart of it. Think about how you use a digital map, right? You can see the entire country. Then you can zoom into a city, then a neighborhood, all the way down to a single street. You get more and more detail, but you never lose the context of the bigger picture. That's exactly how this framework wants you to see your business.
And the tool that actually makes all this happen is called the Collaborative Business Model Diagnostic, or the Fractal Grid. Now, this is not just another business checklist, not at all. It's a living framework that's designed to replace all that ambiguity and guesswork with real clarity and data-driven insights.
It all starts here, at what they call level 0, the satellite view. This is your 30,000-foot overview. It lays out the 9 fundamental building blocks of any business, things like your enterprise, your customers, your performance. And right away, it gives you this whole system view, letting you see the major gaps and connections literally at a glance.
Now, from that satellite view, this is where it gets really cool. You can zoom in on any one of those 9 boxes to get to level 1, the city view. So let's say you click on the enterprise box. Boom, it expands to show you its own core parts, the CEO, the team, the technology. This is how the map connects your high-level strategy directly to what's happening on the ground.
And if you zoom in one more level, you get to the most detailed layer, the street view. And this is where we shift from just mapping things out to actually measuring them. Level 2 has this powerful diagnostic engine built right in. It's like getting a quantitative, data-driven MRI scan of your business's real health and maturity. So how does this diagnostic engine actually work? Well, it's powered by a framework that's been battle-tested in Silicon Valley for years. It's called the Bell-Mason model, and it's basically a roadmap for figuring out if a startup is truly ready to grow. What the model does is it assesses your startup across these 12 critical dimensions. You can think of them as the vital signs of your business, and they cover everything from technical feasibility, like your tech and product, to market desirability, your marketing and sales, all the way to the nitty-gritty of financial and operational viability, like the strength of your CEO and your team. Now, here's a really important part. A company's maturity in those 12 areas isn't just graded on a simple scale. No, it's measured against these 4 distinct stages of growth, from the very beginning concept stage all the way to market development. And that's absolutely crucial because what's considered healthy for a tiny seed stage company is going to be totally different from what's needed for a company that's ready to scale. And this brings us to what is probably the single most important insight of this entire framework. Seriously, this is a principle that could completely change how you think about building a company.
This slide just says it all, doesn't it? Just look at these 2 radar charts. On one side, you've got a healthy company. See how its shape is balanced, symmetrical? Now look at the other one. It's all lopsided and spiky.
Sure, it might be brilliant in one or two areas, but that imbalance is a massive red flag for any investor. It screams systemic risk.
So here's the big takeaway. The goal is not to be perfect in all 12 areas at once. The real goal is to be appropriately developed across all of them for whatever stage your company is in right now. Balance always beats isolated pockets of brilliance, because a business is a system, and every part depends on every other part.
And when you're out of balance, that's when you see these classic, totally predictable ways that companies fail. Investors see this stuff all the time. You get concept-level teams pretending to be seed stage, or you get these product-ready companies with seed-level teams. You can have the best tech in the world, but if you're market weak, it doesn't matter. This framework makes those fatal problems visible before they have a chance to sink the ship. So, at the end of the day, what this whole system provides is a fundamental shift in how we make decisions. It's about moving away from that subjective guesswork and moving toward objective, collaborative clarity. I mean, the contrast really couldn't be clearer. The old way of just gut feel is so prone to personal bias, and it creates all these information silos. The new way is data-driven, it actively reduces bias, and it gets everyone working together. You're basically swapping out that static rearview mirror of a business plan for a dynamic living dashboard that you can use to actually run your company. And what happens is this framework becomes a shared language for success. For founders, it gives them clarity on what they actually need to focus on, which builds investor confidence. And for investors, it means faster, way clearer due diligence and an easier way to monitor their portfolio. It gets everyone on the same page, looking at the same map. Ultimately, what this does is it takes an abstract idea, your business model, and turns it into a tangible, actionable roadmap. It helps you finally see your business as a complete, interconnected system. So I'll just leave you with this question. If you could map your own business today, what's the one critical imbalance you think you might discover?